So the Shanghai Dragons have released their full roster, and yet again, it's stacked as all hell. How stacked? We'll get into that today. For those who don't want to stick around for the breakdown, this is their roster. On DPS, they've retained Lip, Fleta, and Who Are You from last year. On Tank, they have retained Fate and Void from last year, and on Support, they have retained Lee Jae-gon and Isayaki from last year, while picking up Bebe from the Washington Justice. On their coaching staff, they have retained Moon, Diamond, and Kong from last year, while picking up Pavin out of retirement. Onto the breakdown. To start off with the DPS line, we have most likely the best DPS line in the league. The only teams that can reliably compete with them on paper are Chengdu and Seoul, but I still give the edge to the Dragons. Fleta is one of the most flexible players of all time. He has consistently jaw-dropping performances on every hero he plays on, and is probably my pick for the best projectile in the world. Then Lip needs no introduction. The man was insanely close to winning MVP last year, and was the best hit scan in the world, and was absolutely dominant on the Sombra, being a massive factor in Shanghai's dominance in the ball composition. Then we have the greatest player in Overwatch League history, Who Are You? The man can play anything, with a jaw-dropping main GenG play, and has even flexed to the Tracer before. Watch out, guys. Just kidding, Who Are You will likely continue to ride the bench, but if necessary, he can come in case of a double flex meta, which barely ever happens. Overall, these guys are already completely dominant last year, easily destroying every team on their path to the championship title, and in Overwatch 2, I think a player with insane flexibility like Fleta and Lip are going to dominate. Hard to see any other team comparing. Next up, the tanks. These guys will be just as good, if not better than last year. Fate is like a mono type of player. He is consistently good at all his heroes aside from arguably Ryan, which isn't even that bad. And that's more or less the kind of tank you want in Overwatch 2. As who knows what will be meta or even what the new heroes will be. And he is coming off his best year yet. He was completely dominant on the Wrecking Ball. Meanwhile, Void is arguably the best off-tank in the game. He is utterly dominant on the D.Va and Sigma, and it's even shown a solid Zarya in the past as well. He's a total nut, and has the mechanics to pick up any heroes needed to succeed. This tank line could very well be the best in Overwatch 2, and while I would take Dallas's line slightly, it's really hard to argue against Fate's flexibility and Void's utter dominance. Finally, the supports. These guys are probably still the best support line in the league. Lee Jae-gon is absurd. You could argue he's the best at every single main support in the lineup, even Brig. He is incredibly flexible and dominant in everything he plays, aside from maybe the flex support. But that's where Isayaki comes in, who is also absurd. He is top of the line statistically on every hero but Moira, which he is very proficient in. I can't see him not dominating the league if we wind up in a flex support meta. He's just so good at staying alive, pumping out heals, and crushing the dreams of flankers, even if he isn't the most flashy player. Bebe is a really odd pickup, but I don't really see him starting in case he does need to come in for a double flex support meta. And I think him and Isayaki would be solid, but not top tier with the flex support. Isayaki is very, very good, probably the best flex support in the world right now, but he's not that flashy and doesn't have carry potential, and Bebe just straight up isn't that good. They would be solid though, I don't think they'd be incredible. They are still the strongest support lineage in a traditional main support and flex support comp easily though. As for the coaching, this is really the only place the Dragons took a hit. They have retained their coaching staff for the most part, but they lost Jayfiel and Dongsu. Both of these guys, especially Jayfiel, are amazing coaches that were a huge part of the Dragons' success last year. The Dragons were insanely well coached, and their deadly ball comps were really well coordinated and were partly why they were so dominant for most of the season. Pavin is a good coach, but honestly a little underwhelming considering he hasn't coached a good team since New York in 2018. Hell, he's been retired for the past year or so. This doesn't stop me from keeping them as my favorite to win the league yet, but it does hurt and could bite them again in Season 5, where good coaching will be really important to adapt to all the changes. Overall, though, how could you not have these guys as your number one? Likely the continuing best DPS line in the league, arguably best tank line, and best flex and main support duo. The only way I see these guys underperforming is if it's a hard flex support meta, or if the constant changes get out of hand for Moon. But really, these guys are possibly the greatest team of all time, and it's hard to bet against them, at least on paper. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload almost daily Overwatch League content, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.